Awesome. It does say that we are live on our YouTube and Facebook. Just double check that that's true. I am starting to see some folks that are hopping on with us as you're starting to join us on the broadcast. Of course, you can engage in our comment section. You can give us a reaction to the video. That allows us to see who's on here with us. Just going to wait a quick minute so I can see this alert show up before we get started. All right, well, I see the alert now, so let's go ahead and jump right to it. As folks are starting to hop on with us onto our broadcast, good morning and thank you for engaging with us. Now, whether it's morning, afternoon, or evening, this video, of course, is available to you to rewatch and replay and really tune into it at your convenience. This allows you to be able to kind of pause, hear some of those comments more clearly, get some of that information that you're hoping for, and maybe even circle back with any comments or questions along the way. Now, if you are a returning viewer to this page, then I want to thank you for engaging with us on our broadcasts. These broadcasts have been held for over 2.5 years now, which is crazy to even think about. Remember, whenever we first launched it around kind of the COVID time period to help people transition, then it was kind of the post COVID, and now we're in this constant communication with our overall community on things that are going on, things that are happening from our city elected officials, all the way to welcoming some of our newer partners on these broadcasts and allowing you to learn more about them outside of just the brand or the name that you may be used to seeing. Now, if you're a new viewer on our page, then I want to encourage you to not only hit the like button on our Facebook page or our YouTube channel, but make sure that you are subscribed to the YouTube channel or following the Facebook page. Both of those features allow you to get notified when we go live or when we post information. And in a world where algorithm changes consistently happen all the time, we don't want you to lose sight of some of this information that we're bringing to you. So make sure that you're liking, you're following, you're subscribing onto our platforms, and that you're also hitting the share button on this video at any point in time so that others in your network can see that we've been live, that we're live right now, and can join us onto the broadcast. Of course, our Wednesdays are dedicated to welcoming our new members to the chamber. But for those of you that have not met me before, I am Juliette Abdel, the Westminster Chamber of Commerce President and CEO, and I am very happy to have with me Hannah today from the North Metro SBDC. Hello, Hannah.
Hello, Juliette. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so happy to be here.
Of course. Well, we've had such a rich partnership with the North Metro SBDC over the years, but now you all are transitioned into kind of our membership side, and our ability to work with you and servicing you through our programs and other opportunities are out there. So very enthused to have you all on board with us. But for those people that aren't aware of what is the SBDC, can you give us just like a quick elevator pitch about what that network is?
Absolutely. Yeah. For those of you who aren't familiar with the acronym, SBDC stands for Small Business Development Center, and there's several offices throughout the state. We are the North Metro SBDC, so we service mostly Adams and Broomfield counties. And the services, our main services, are one-on-one consulting with our business experts, which is completely free. And we have such a vast range of expertise within our consulting team, which is a great resource. And then we also do educational programming like webinars and courses that are also being offered online. So pretty easy to engage with those. And we're just trying to be a resource for small businesses.
Absolutely. And you shared quite a bit in those 30 seconds that I turned over to you. So when we talk about there being several different SBDC locations that are served by different regions, the one that you are representing, kind of the North Metro, Adams, and Broomfield County, does that mean that someone can't get assistance in some of the other areas if they also overlap in those communities? Or how does that work?
That's a great question. And we do actually get that question quite a bit. And we do our best to keep businesses with the SBDC center that is closest to them, that is, serving their region. But what's so great about the network is that each office, SBDC office, has a little bit of a different focus or some specialties. So even if you're in an area in the state that you're being served by your SBDC office there, but you have some more specific questions, or you could benefit from some services from one of the other centers that just spends a little bit more time and resources addressing that area of business, then we can do some transfers. And another beauty of our online world is that we are connected throughout the state, and so there's really not competition between offices, but we work collaboratively across the state to get businesses the resources that they need.
Absolutely. And I love that collaboration. I love that some of the offices have different specialties as those different needs arise from our businesses. That being said, it sounds like you all are more connected than just the name. And so let's take a step back and tell people, how is the SBDC funded? Are you guys a private organization? Are you a public sector entity? What is the SBDC, and how was it structurally?
Yes. So it can get a little complicated, but we are a program within the Small Business Administration. So we get a lot of our funding through the SBA, or yes, the SBA. We get a lot of confusion with SBDC and SBA, and that's where that connection comes in, is that we are a program of the SBA. But wherever we are in a community, we may have different host organizations. So for the North Metro SBDC, we are hosted within Front Range Community College there in Westminster. But that is different across the state. Some of the other SBDC offices are with their local chambers, or they're hosted by libraries, or that host organization can change. But yeah, like I said, we are with Front Range Community College, and that's been a great partnership for us. And we work so closely with the other cities in our region, the economic development corporations and the chambers within our cities, and can get some funding that way. We are also grant funded through the state. So there's all these different little pockets and partnerships that we're working with to kind of bring it all together.
Absolutely. And thank you so much for giving us those different nuggets. So, as people are tuned in, or if they see another office that's located somewhere that's not the traditional, what they think of when they think of Front Range, then they know that it's still an SBDC. It's just housed a little bit differently, but they're still there to help and be a resource. So, Hannah, where did you start off? Did you start off kind of in their coaching side or consulting side and then transition to staff? Or is everyone voluntary and there is no staff?
There is staff. We're a small team, but we like to think of ourselves as small but mighty. So I
Mhm.
started off on staff there. My background comes from the nonprofit world, but in doing so, I'd always been working with small businesses. I went to school at Colorado State University in Fort Collins and majored in recreation and tourism, and minored in business. So through some turns of events, that took me to the Outdoor Industry Association, where I was most recently before coming to the SBDC, where I got to work with small businesses across the country, specifically in the outdoor industry. And that gave me a ton of skills that transitioned just great to working with the SBDC. And so I've been on the team here For about 2 years,
Mm,
actually almost exactly 2 years, and it's been so fun. It's been a whirlwind during the pandemic and all the ups and downs and changes
yeah,
that has taken us on, and the different types of support that businesses have needed over those 2 years has been
sure.
really interesting to see.
So let's take a deeper dive into that, if that's okay. How have the needs changed during COVID? Were there differences that you saw during that time period that may be still around now, or just differences in general that were more temporary that you needed to support? And how were you all able to do that?
Hmm. Yeah, in the beginning, it was very much survival mode, and a lot of businesses were very frustrated and scared about what the future of their business looked like and didn't know how to access resources or even what those resources would be, if they qualified for funding programs. And we're still seeing some of that, but there's also been, along the way, there was a shift of a lot of people who, took the time, I think, to have some resiliency and think about the new type of business they would want to start. And so there's been that kind of creative surge. Maybe they got some extra time throughout the pandemic and realized whatever job I was doing really isn't my passion and what I want to be doing. And so they looked at starting their own business. And so we've seen a lot of those new startup stage entrepreneurs, which has been really exciting to work with. And so it's been a mix. I mean, we still see several businesses who are very frustrated and needing support and resources to continue in their business and to find new ways to see it thrive. So it's been a lot of some back and forths, and it's different for every business, I think.
And so it sounds like you're working with a variety of businesses, and it's not just a particular industry. Is that an accurate statement?
Yes, yeah, it's all over the board. Anyone can make use of our services, really. So it's so exciting to see, yeah, all the different types of businesses that are out there.
Yeah. And so if someone is interested in supporting some of the work of the SBDC, maybe not necessarily in using the service, but in being there as a resource or in contributing, is there a way that they can, or is it, how do you go about selecting who you do end up working with in the communities?
Hmm. Absolutely. Like I mentioned, we have a fantastic consulting team that has, various backgrounds and expertise. And so that's a great resource that we always are trying to get clients to take advantage of that. But we also have a lot of outside resources that we keep a list of for outside referrals, and, everything from insurance to lending to benefits and human resources and just all these things that businesses need to have access to. And so we do. If someone is interested in being that type of resource for some of our clients and our small businesses, they can just reach out to me, and we can just have a little discussion about what that would look like and if it is going to be the right fit for us to refer out to. But that's another piece. We want to be a connector in the community between businesses and the services that they need.
Absolutely. And that's where we kind of coalesce together because we share so much in supporting our broad businesses and we do different things. And that's where we leverage those strengths and the network that we have to really ultimately support those businesses along their journey and along them trying to continue to succeed. Now, we've got a few different people that have joined us today. We also have a quick comment that came to us from our current board chairman, Brian Dice. He gave us a quick good morning message. And he's also thanking you, Hannah, for participating in the broadcast with us this morning. So thank you so much, Brian, for hopping on. As a quick segue and reminder for those of you that are tuned into the broadcast now rather than at the start, today is a network welcome, and we're welcoming our North Metro Small Business Development Center, SBDC for short. That's how you'll hear us referencing it. Hannah is one of their team members and is giving us a nice overview of what they have been doing, especially over the last couple of years, and then kind of how they're structured and their focus and areas that they support. Now, Hannah, is there a concern that's out there that people feel? And this is more of like debunking myths. I always think of like random things that I'm like, what would stop someone from using a particular business product or service, right? So my first question would be, do are people have a misunderstanding of that there might be a cost. So, for example, is there a cost that's associated somewhere along the way of this consulting that comes up that someone's not expecting or anticipating?
Well, I'll say no, and then I'll give a clarifier. Our services our consulting is completely free of charge, and we try to make that as loud and clear as possible because it does seem sometimes like we're the best kept secret, and we don't want to be. We want everyone to know how easy it is to take advantage of our services, and that we, like I've said several times, have fantastic consultants that want to help businesses. So it's completely free to do that consulting. And another myth that I think is out there is it's like a one and done, which is not the case. You can continue to use our services, as many times as you need, as long as you are working on your business and needing that support. We're here to do that. So that is completely free. All of our webinars and our online programming, that's completely free and is also always in our video library that you can access on our website if you ever miss a live session. So a lot of great content there for free. Some of our courses, you do have an enrollment fee. And that can look different depending on the course, but we also have scholarships available, and we work with a lot of our partners that are able to offer scholarships for those courses. So those are a little bit different, but there is sometimes a fee for those. And if you find that you need to work with a consultant outside of the SBDC, if you find that you need to hire them on to do some work for your company, then there would be fees associated with that because it is separate from the SBDC. You then hired them on as a contractor for a given time, which happens sometimes, not a lot, but it is an option. So we always want to clarify where those costs would come in, but by and large, our services are completely free.
Awesome. Here's another myth I want to throw out there. And this might be around kind of data sensitivity or maybe sensitivity about business information that we are naturally known to kind of be protective over and protective over our data. So, is there data that's being shared? So, what someone is going over with a consultant or with your team or your office, is that being shared into this larger network or given out to people? Or who is using that information if there's anyone outside of you and the business owner?
Yeah, that's a great question and a big priority for us as well. And your data when you sign on as a client with the SBDC is not shared outside of the SBDC. It's confidential between your consultant and the SBDC staff. So even other networks or other offices within the network need, certain access to be able to see a client's data, and that's all very private. So you need passwords, and it's very protected, and we have a great database that's very secure. So that's something that you can feel very safe about when you sign on with the SBDC. One of the first steps in the registration process is an online form that tells you exactly how your information is stored and shared, and you have control over that as well. So we hope everyone feels safe about joining with the SBDC.
Yes, absolutely. And to that end, I just want to quickly piggyback because I know you've talked about these webinars that are available for people to replay and some of those courses. And are your consulting sessions right now, are they virtual or are they in person?
They are virtual, so it kind of depends on the consultant. Most of them do it through Zoom or some sort of Zoom platform, but some of them just do a phone call, whatever's going to be easiest for the client. So we have seen actually a big increase in demand for services since we did go to remote consulting. Because for so many, our clients are, very busy entrepreneurs and business owners and trying to keep their own business afloat, but also need some of this support. So for them to be able to, get that drive time back into their day and not need to leave their business for more than they need to, they can just jump on a Zoom call or a phone call while they're still at their place of business has been really helpful for them. We do have some in-person consulting if that is what someone is needing. We partner with the Alliance Business Assistance Center in Thornton. We do have a consultant there who offers some in-person consulting, and we do have, like I mentioned, some office space at our physical location there at Front Range Community College. So if that is a need, we could arrange for that to happen, but we're just not really seeing that demand right now.
Absolutely. And I just threw this out there because it was perfectly timed when you shared at Front Range Community College, your location. Is there a perception that's out there that the SBDC is a function of Front Range, or that it's essentially a division because you guys are located? Is that an accurate statement? Is it inaccurate? I know we kind of touched on this earlier when we were talking about the different host sites.
Yeah. I think that's one of those. It is tricky. It's kind of one of those fine lines because we do partner very closely with Front Range. We're housed within Front Range. We have great working relationships there, but it's not like a course where you could get credit at the college or anything like that. It is. We are still a separate entity in that way. And I mean, in the future, I think we're always open to more ways that we can partner even closer with Front Range, and maybe there could be a way that you could, students could take a course and get credit, but that's not the case right now. So it is a separate entity.
And so, if someone is trying to reach out to you all by phone, for example, what's a good number that they can try and call?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we are only in the office about one day a week right now because we're just not seeing that in-person demand. So we do have a hotline, which is 720
Mhm.
893 1589. And that will ring directly to my cell phone, actually. So that's a great way to get a hold of us. You can also always reach out to our email address, northmetro.sbdc@frontrange.edu. We also have a chat feature, a live chat on our website, which is northmetrosbdc.com. So lots of ways to get in touch with us. And you can schedule consulting sessions directly through our website. So of course, we always want you to call us, and we can talk through what kind of consulting might be best for you, or what kind of course might be best for you, answer any questions. But if you're just wanting to get in there and schedule an appointment and get on with the rest of your day, you can do that directly through our website.
Absolutely. And I'm just quickly sharing some of these ways that you can contact the SBDC. Here is the direct link to book an appointment through their website for information on all the services that they offer, how they're structured, who they are, and additional details. You can go to their website directly, and that's northmetrosbdc.com. And then the quick email for you to reach out to someone is northmetro.sbdc@frontrange.edu. All of these are in the chat section for you to be able to kind of go back to. And then we did note that everyone's in office maybe one day a week, and hopefully that's a number. I tried to jot it down very quickly so
Yes.
that you can reach Hannah directly if you had any questions that you wanted to throw at her by phone or follow up on. Of course, for those of you that are tuned in with us, if you do end up watching this later on and we're no longer live, we ask for two things. One is a hashtag replay, which allows us to be able to see your comments if you do make any comments later on, and that way you're not lost or forgotten about. And then the second is that if you do have a question or a thought that you wanted to get across that you maybe were not wanting to share with the broader audience, you can always DM the page. And often this happens, actually, this happens quite often, where we have people that have questions, especially about their own individual scenarios or cases. And it's okay for you to message our page. We won't go out there and say, Susie said this type of question. We actually will try and do our best to connect with our expert that's on here today to get that answer or concern taken care of and respond back to you in a very timely manner, so that way you can kind of get those needs taken care of and can continue to do what you're doing for your place of business. Now, Hannah, I know I have peppered you with a bunch of questions, a bunch of other myths, some kind of random curveball things. Were there any things or any items that you were trying to get out there potentially that I didn't get a chance to ask you about?
I think we've covered a lot of great content. I guess one thing I do want to put out there is we are always open to hearing ideas about business topics that you would like some information on. I do most of our programming, and we work with our consultants to prepare some webinars on topics that seem to be coming up often in consulting, types of questions that we're hearing often. But we're always looking to hear more feedback from the businesses in our community as to what is helpful. So definitely want to put that out there. You can always reach out if there are certain topics that you would love to hear some more information about. I also want to mention that we do have some really exciting programming coming up later this summer. We're trying to make a big push with one of our consultants, Diego Leyes. He's our Spanish program outreach manager, and one of our consultants. And so we're always trying to find more ways that we can outreach to the Spanish speaking population, because we have not done the best job of that in the past, and we really are making an effort to change that. So we do have a course coming up starting in August, in partnership with the Brighton Economic Development Corporation and the Brighton Chamber as well, to focus on digital marketing, and it will be targeted to the Spanish-speaking population of businesses there. So excited about that, and always love those partnerships. We partner with Westminster quarterly for great webinars, and also for a digital marketing boot camp that we offer in the spring. So we're excited about some of those other programs and courses that we have coming up as well.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Hannah, for being on this broadcast with us. Enjoyed talking with you, and I appreciate all of you that are tuned in with us. I saw you, Parker, sneak on here. Good morning to you as well. You can always rewind and rewatch, and I hope everyone enjoys the rest of their day. Note that because we had the 4th of July this week, our after hours is pushed to next Tuesday. That's from 5 to 7 next Tuesday, the 12th. We'll be out there at Kokopelli Beer Company. I hope to see everyone there. And of course, Hannah, enjoy the rest of your day.
Great. Thank